Kolton, Tamara, on the face of it, it might seem like a bit of a contradiction to have an atheistic Jewish temple. How do you reconcile the two?
Well, when I look at Jewish history, I see evidence that people need to be self-reliant, and that ultimately Jewish history is one of the best pieces of evidence, the experience, not Jewish mythology, but the experience of the Jewish people, that there is no divine power. And so when Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof says to God, if this is what it means to be chosen, I wouldn't mind if you choose someone else for a challenge.
Yes.
I mean, the Jewish people have lived this irony. They go to temple over the last 2,000 years and they pray and they say in their prayers this magic combination of words that you cannot deviate from, like a spell. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has chosen us among all other nations as a special people. What humanistic Jews did is they got together in 1963 and said, we love being Jewish. We are going to keep and hold true to our holidays, to our rituals and our traditions, but we are no longer going to worship. And in fact, we go even further and we say it's very likely that the origins of the Jewish people are found in nature, and that all of the Jewish holidays are organized around nature, the land, the fall harvest, the spring harvest. So why would we let the establishment take our Judaism away?
And what do other Jewish groups think of what you're doing?
Some of them think that we're heretics. Some of them think we're destroying Judaism. Some of them think that the Torah is the glue that held the Jews together. One of the most controversial things that I do is intermarriage. And I'm so fortunate that many of my colleagues won't perform intermarriages because that means all the nice couples come to me who wouldn't normally find us.
This means marrying people who are not Jews.
That's right. And this is not new. In the book of Deuteronomy, Ezra comes at 450 BCE. He's coming from Babylon. He goes to what is the land of Israel. He reads from the book of Deuteronomy. It needs to be translated because the people don't speak Hebrew. And the first thing he says is dismiss your foreign wives. Because all the Israelites have intermarried. So we as humanistic Jews say that human dignity is more important than Jewish law, than ancient prophets, than tradition. But we love being Jewish. I mean, to be Jewish is to be a part of a people. The rhythm of life, the way that we see the world, what we eat, how we sit at our tables during holidays. We are not going to give that up.
Do you and your people do things like observe the Sabbath, anything like that?
Very much so. In fact, I'm prepared to say that I am more religious and Jewish than most of the Jews in the world, because my life is devoted to the rhythm of the Jewish holidays. Every Friday we meet here, we light Sabbath candles, but everything we do, we say to ourselves, first, is it meaningful and relevant? And second, does it uphold human dignity? And if we get a yes, we do it.
Yes. But you don't believe in God?
Most people in this congregation don't believe in a personal God.
Like Einstein?
Yes. So I consider myself agnostic. I don't have any information on the existence or non-existence of an energy force, a power. I don't know. And if you threatened to torture me and said, you must tell me, I still wouldn't know. What I know is that the Torah was written by a group of people who were a small band. I would even call them fanatics, which is very out there to say. They had a political and social and religious agenda. And because the Catholic Church happened to pick up this book in the 3rd century and make Christianity the religion of Catholicism, the Jews were promoted to this status. Otherwise, there were many competing groups of Jews around the time of Jesus. Do you ever wonder, when you look at the origin of the world, there's the idea of a sliding door. You know, there's not such a great movie, but a great concept. If the door had slid left, if the supernova had crashed a little off-center, or all the things that happened by chance that we're here. And the same thing is for Judaism. There were many competing cults around the time of Jesus. There was a group that lived at the Dead Sea that we now know very well because of the Dead Sea Scrolls. There was a group of Jews that believed only the aristocracy among the Jews should be able to encounter the temple. And then there was a group called the Pharisees. And Christianity and this figure that is attributed to Jesus, his disciples, they picked up Pharisaic Judaism. And that's why that is the establishment view. But sliding doors, let's say, Jesus had been hanging around the Dead Sea.
Yes.
Maybe he would have bumped into an Essene.
Yes. What about the early books of the Old Testament itself, the Pentateuch, the Torah? How much of that do you think is historical? Did Moses ever live as a man?
I don't think any of it's historical. I think the mythological stories are myth. And
so Abraham is a myth, never lived.
Never lived.
Isaac never lived.
Never lived. What probably happened is, like the book of Kings, we have some evidence that there were kings, that the Jewish people chose kings as their leaders. And that becomes, there's more evidence of that. I put Noah's Ark, and I put Abraham, and I put with Joseph, and I put Eve. They're all myths.
Yes.
They're all made up. In fact, sometimes the Torah repeats itself and tells different stories.
Yes.
The same story, but a different version. And that's how we know that the northern tribes of Israel have one version. They refer to their God as El, the sky god, Elohim. The Judea, the establishment at the time, they refer to their God as Yahweh, this Adonai Yud-He Vav-He. And so we know that this story was pieced together, written by different people during different times with different ideas. We also know that there was an underground tradition. And there's all these pagans who are so-called Jewish. And they're worshiping a goddess. Her name is Astarte or Asherah. And they're doing this in the form of a tree. And in the Book of Kings, you're either a good king or a king, according to how you treat these heretics who are of the Jewish people. If you go to their trees and you destroy them, their altars that they're building, you're a good king. If you leave them, you're a bad king. This feels more historically correct.
Yes. I think I can understand and empathize with a desire to maintain the traditions of an ancient people and meet on Fridays and so on. You very often hear people call themselves a Jewish atheist. Mm-hmm. I never ever heard anybody call himself a Christian atheist.